Hello everyone. Today we are going to estimate to find percent. Please turn to page 358 in your topic 6 packet. Let's take a look at the key concept. It says that fraction equivalents, rounding, or compatible numbers can be used to estimate the percent of a number. In this first example, they give us 8% of 300,000 is about 30,000. Well, how do you do this without a calculator? If you look at the 8%, which is given, we could round that to approximately 10%. And 10% written as a fraction is 1 out of 10. You can multiply 1 out of 10 times 300,000 and you get 30,000. One way to do this, sort of quickly in your head, if you understand that your whole number is out of 1, you would multiply 1 times 300,000 is 300,000, and then you would divide by 10, which is just taking away one of those zeros at the end to get the 300,000. In example 2, they give us 27% of 297 is about 75. Again, we're going to try to do this without a calculator. We're going to round 27% to approximately 25%, which is 1/4. It's a quarter. 300 is compatible to the number 297 because it's only 3 away. And if you multiply 1/4 times 300, you get 75. Again, you would know that 300 is over 1. So 1 times 300 is 300. And 300 divided by 4 is the 75. Okay, next we'll move on to the Do You Understand section. As I go through each question, I will give you a few moments to write down the information before we discuss it. So number 1 is the essential question. How can you estimate to find the percent of a number? Please write that down. It says to find a fraction equivalent to the percent and then round or find a compatible number for the whole. Multiply the equivalent fraction by the whole number and you get your answer. So just as we did up here, we found a compatible percent to 8%. That makes it easier to do it in our head. We made it 10%. And because the 300,000 was a nice even number that you could easily multiply the 10% by, we didn't have to change that number in any way. However, in this example, we did. So we knew that we were going to find a compatible number to this 297, and 300 was only 3 away. So it's really, really close. That's why they call it compatible. And we know that this 27% is close to the 25%, which is a quarter, and you can multiply a quarter by the 300. And you'll find there are often multiple ways to do this. Another person might have made this 30% instead, which also can be multiplied. The 1/3, you would make 30%, 1/3, and then you could multiply that by the 300 as well. And this number here would be a little different, but it would be similar. Okay, and then number 2, is there more than one fraction you could use to estimate 27% of 200? So this is what I was referring to in the earlier example, that one student might get the fraction 1/4 and another might use 1/3, and both would be reasonable. So take a moment and write this down. So the answer is yes. You could use 1/4, which is 25%. You could use 3/10, which is 30%. You could use 1/3, which would be a little bit higher. It would be 33%, but still fairly reasonable, and all would get a fairly close number to one another. Okay, number 3. What compatible number could you use to estimate 75% of 35? Why is this number compatible with 75%? And that's a 6, not a B, 36. Okay, so the answer here is 36. And that's because 75% is equivalent to 3/4. And 3/4 can be multiplied mentally by 36. So I'm just going to show it to you on paper how that would look so you can see how you would do it in your head. Okay, so we have the 3/4, which is the 75%, and we're going to multiply that by 36, and that would be over 1. Okay, so you could multiply here across, and you'd get a big number, but if you know that you can cross simplify, okay, this 36 would be a 9, and that 4 would become a 1, and you would get 27. Okay, number 4. Out of 195 students, 9% have hazel eyes. How can you estimate the number of students with hazel eyes? So we're going to round 9% to approximately to 10%, and 10% would be 10 over 100, simplified to 1/10. And 1/10 of 195 is equal to 19.5. And you can't have half a person, so we would have to round that up to about 20 students. Of course, you could have made this number, rounded in your head to 200 and done 1/10 of 200 and got right to that 20. So there's a lot of different methods or strategies that you can use when estimating with percents. Okay, next we're going to do the do you know how. I will do, let's see, 5, and 6, okay, with you. And then I'll give you a little bit of time to try questions 7 and 8 on your own. Okay, so for number 5, we have 47% of 77. So we're going to round this 47% to about 50%. I love 50% because 50% is half. So that makes the math really easy in our heads. And this 77, we could round that to 80. And we know that 50% or half of 80 is 40. Again, since we're working with half, you could have rounded this, 77 to 78, and you could have done half of 78, and you would have got even closer. So there's a lot of different methods here. Okay, number 6, 18% of 48. 18% is approximately 20%. Which is also 1/5, and 48 is approximately 50. So 1/5 of 50, well, that's easy to do in our head. So it would be 50, 1 times 50 is 50. 5 times 1 is 5, and we would do this in our head. And when you would divide the two, you would get 10. So 20%, which is 1/5 of 50, is 10. Okay, I'm going to give you about 3 minutes to try number 7 and 8 on your own. All right, and then we'll go over it. Please begin. Okay, 73% is very close to 75%, and 75% is equal to 3/4. You can multiply 3/4 by 800 easily. 3 times 8 is 24. Add back the 2 zeros and divide by 4, and you get 600. We could also, in our heads, picture cross-canceling, okay, where we're going to take out the common denominator, actually the GCF, which is 4. So we're going to divide 4 by 4 and get 1. We'll divide 800 by 4 and get 200. And 3 times 200 is that 600. Number 8, 31% is close to 30%, which is 3/10. And 3/10 times 90, and actually we could make it, 94 is close to 100, so we can make it 100, because 3 times 100 is 300, and then we would divide in our head by, not 3, by 10. Okay, so 3 times 100 is 300, 10 times 1 is 10. All right, and 300 divided by 10 is 30. Okay, and then the last problem, number 9. Tara sent party invitations to 98 people. 82% of the people said they will come to the party. About how many people said they will come to the party? Explain. So we're going to take this 82% and understand that that is close to 80%. And 80% is 8 out of 10. We can then find a compatible number to this 98. It's very close to 100. And then we would just multiply across in our head. So 8 times 100 is 800. Divide that by 10. And you get approximately 80 people attending the party. This ends today's lesson on section 6-4, estimating to find a percent. At this time, we will move into practice. So just wait for teacher directions or access the practice page directions or Math Excel in the Google Classroom. Have a great day.